What is up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. Today it's going to be a short video, but I'm going to show you guys how to set up a tube bender in your garage. This is going to be a removable setup. That way you could just put it up somewhere in the corner of the garage when you're not bending tube, because people don't bend tube every day unless you're, you know, you're producing like roll cages or tube front ends for people all the time. So yeah, so I'm going to show you a removable way. It's going to not leave little stubs sticking out of the ground, so that's kind of cool. So you can still park your cars in the garage and not worry about hitting your tires, stuff like that. So let's go ahead and jump into it. Best way I know how to do it. If you guys know another idea or another way, just let me know in the comments, and then maybe I can adjust my setup. So thank you guys for watching, and let's check it out. Alrighty, so here's the bender I have. We just finished moving into this house, so I haven't unpacked it yet. Find an area you want to put the bender that's going to give you enough space when you're bending stuff that it doesn't actually, end up hitting a wall or hitting something that's going to be in the way when you're making like main hoops or something like big pieces of material. So just take that in consideration. And then my house is on a slope, so you're going to want to find the most level part of your garage or throw down some self-leveling concrete and do it like that. But I happen to find a spot right here in the center of my garage, which is super flat, so I'm going to use that. And it's just like a 1 foot by 1 foot plate, so I'll be good there. And that's going to set you up pretty good, so when you're actually bending stuff, you can zero out your gauge on top of your bender and then zero out your tube, so you know you're 100% dead level. So that's the best way to go about doing that. Another way you could do this is make a tripod stand on wheels, so you can just move it around the shop. But you're going to need a hydraulic mount for that, and I know Swag Off-Road sells one of those, and I'll probably end up doing that later on. But for now, I don't see the point in spending the money when I can just easily manually bend it, and then I can put that money into my car. So whatever, I'm doing this. This works for me. So my base plate is about 12 3/8, so I'm going to mark out on the floor from the center point of where I found it to be most level, 6 1/4, and then I'll just make a little reference line. It's not actually important, because when you set this up, you're just going to kind of mark it by the holes anyway, but I'm OCD, so I'm just going to do that real quick, and then we can get the sand set up. So one thing to take into consideration is the way the bender's set up, because you don't want to bend something that's going to crash right into the wall, and then you wouldn't be able to finish the bend, and you'd have to move your bender, so that's kind of annoying. So the way I have it set up now is actually wrong. You're going to want to flip this around so the handle is facing towards the spot with the least amount of space, which is my wall. So basically, if you could picture this, this is going to be where the die sits. You'd want to flip this. Then you would have your, for example, 20-foot piece of tubing going straight across here. And yes, I know my garage is super messy right now. I'm still kind of like building spaces. But, and then when you bend that piece, it's going to actually bend this way versus this way. Because right now, if I were to put a tube in here, I'd chalk it up, and then I would start, see this part actually opens up. It would open this way, bending my tube into the wall. So we don't want that. So we're going to flip this. That way, when we bend it, it's going to bend the tube out toward the open space. So one thing to take into consideration, easy way to remember that, handle toward the wall. Alright, so if we put the level up there, or if you have a digital gauge or whatever, we can see that's 0. That's pretty good for me. Cool, and then we're 0 here. So we know this is pretty center, and that's just going to help us center up everything else later on when we're bending. And that is very important, my friends. Alright, so now that we found the levelest part of our floor, what we can do is go ahead and find the correct bit for our setup, and then we can start drilling our holes. Okay, and just to touch on the setup real quick, you have your washer, and then you got your 1-inch, 1/2-inch bolt, and then I got some female or in-ground 1/2-inch red hot concrete anchors, and then you're going to need this setting tool to actually activate these that goes with your setup. So okay, and for my setup, I'm got the 1/2-inch sleeves, so I'm going to be running a 5/8 drill bit. And you can just kind of, if you don't know what to get, you can kind of just ask the guy who works there or check it out. So yeah, it helps to bring this and compare that with your sleeve, or even go a size smaller, like a 1/2 inch, and then check it. If your sleeve doesn't fit in there, then just hit it with the next bit. So that's not too big of a deal. Just don't go too big right away, or else you won't be able to fix that. So yeah, so now we're just gonna drill the rest of them, and we'll be done. And at this step, it helps to have a shop vac there, so you can just suck up all the dust before you pull the drill bit out, so all that dust doesn't just fall into your hole. Alright, so we got our first one drilled, and then as you can see, that's how it fits. And then after I hammer this down and I use my setting tool, it will expand the anchor in the hole, and we have a permanent anchor there. So this is a good time just to double check your depth. If you don't have tape, I realize the marker is a little bit harder to see, so I'm gonna mark a different bit, and I'm just gonna stick it down the hole so I can see how deep it is. It should be a 1/4 inch past the length of this, which is 2 inches, so it should be 2 1/4. Alright, so we hit our depth that we needed, and now we can just go ahead and place the sleeve on there, and then I'll use a piece of wood on top of here, and then we'll just smack that with a hammer until it's flush with the ground, and then we can go ahead and move our stand to that first hole. And this is pretty key to making sure that it all lines up. Don't just drill 4 holes at once and then go at it. Put your first sleeve in, put your stand over the hole, bolt it down, and then double check your level again, and then go around and finish the rest of them. And that's all you gotta do. Alright, and there's our first one. It's flush with the floor. Making sure not to get any debris in there, and then vacuum out around the hole so nothing falls inside there. And then we can just go ahead, double check. Boom, so that fits. Cool, so then we can take our set tool now. We're gonna place this inside there after I vacuum it out, and then I'm just gonna whack that with a hammer, and then that will expand the anchor and it'll be set. Alright, and here's our bolt and washer in the sleeve, and then I can go ahead and snug that one up. Don't over tighten it so you can get the rest of them in there and level everything out, and then we'll just finish out the rest of them. Same process. Alrighty guys, so as you can see, she's bolted in, and that's pretty dead center level, as level as you can get it. If you do some self-leveling concrete, let that cure up right, that'll help you out even more. Another thing you probably do is put some little wooden shims down there, or some metal, and then just tighten those down on top of it. But mine's pretty good. It's pretty cool because you can just take these bolts out, move the thing wherever you need to store it, and then you can just put it back out whenever you need to bend up some tubes. So you can literally put this outside. You can do the same concept anywhere in the house. Make your wife happy. Alright guys, and that's how it turned out. Super stiff, super firm, 4 points, 2 inches mounted into the concrete, so everything's sturdy. And then you can easily remove those bolts, move this thing wherever you want and store it. And then you can, before you put the bolts back in, just vacuum out the holes again. And rethread those bolts in there, and that's all you gotta do, man. And like I said, if you want to get a hydraulic ram, you can make it on a mobile setup with some casters, but you know, I'm not gonna spend the extra money when I could throw that into my drift car. So that's about it. Alrighty, that about wraps up the video. Thank you for watching. Hopefully that helps somebody out in the future. And yeah, that's about it. Thank you guys. I appreciate the support, and make sure you drop a subscription if you want to find my channel again, find out some more cool projects we could do. Also, we're going to be working on the drift car, so stay tuned for that. And I appreciate everything, guys. Take it easy.